did we know behind the scenes
I don't
there
know
was a
how
lot
every
of pressure
show
toward
ends up being
Netanyahu.
about how do we bash Israel. This is not for me. I'm not interested in this.
Okay,
I know.
I'm sorry. Let's be good. Let's be good about precious Israel. Like the country committing a genocide. Yeah. Okay.
Zero. I think you guys fundamentally disagree with you.
But we all know why Trump hasn't released the file. We all know who got to him.
Elmo, I don't think I want to hear the answer to any of this.
John, no, hear me out, John. No, it's not. I'm just asking questions. It's not what you think.
All right, Elmo. What was it?
John, it was the Jews.
Guys ready for this?
Okay.
Oh my gosh. There is so much. We're going to do our best to break it down into two distinct segments. So the first one is
I haven't seen this yet. How many of you guys have seen this yet? I haven't seen this yet, but I've heard about it. I've heard about what happened here. I should have gone over this yesterday, but I totally forgot about it.
Run with some of the things from the official narrative that Kash Patel is putting out there, that the mainstream media is putting out there, revolving around this individual, Tyler Robinson. Now, obviously, there are a lot of irregularities around how this is proclaimed to happen. Everything from the time frame in which he would have exited the vicinity, to the strange text messages that were sent, to the fact that he disassembled the rifle and then reassembled it and then left it in the wilderness. There's a lot of really strange things, but the main thing that everyone's really been talking about over the period of the last several days has been these text messages. So I want to go ahead and dive into them, but more than that, I want to talk about this ChatGPT analysis that I've seen go mega viral everywhere. Now, obviously, guys, this isn't me putting 100% of my trust in ChatGPT, okay? It makes errors all the time.
I don't. I bet you anything it's going to be a video of a guy talking to ChatGPT or just reading off what ChatGPT said. It is not going to be something. I would bet anything, like whatever it is that they say ChatGPT said here, it probably never said. It probably didn't say whatever it is that they're saying. Or, if it did, it had a lot of prompting to get it to say this shit.
But, you know, it's kind of echoing here what the public sentiment has been, which is that these messages seem fake and they seem made up, and it basically seems like Kash Patel and whoever else sat around and they're like, how do trans lovers talk to one another? Let's figure out how we can put together this narrative, because some of the language that was used was just really, really unusual. Do you have it up on the screen there, Connor?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, wonderful. So, let's just run through the text messages really, really quickly. Then we'll go through the ChatGPT analysis of some of the things that it's calling out. So, essentially, it starts, look under your keyboard. What, you're joking, right? I am still okay, my love. I'm stuck in Orem for a while longer yet.
Yeah, who talks like that?
A while longer yet, right? Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I'd hurt to keep this a secret until the day that I died. I'm sorry to involve you. Okay, we're gonna get into the ChatGPT thing, but how is that the first thing that you say?
Also, he left a note under the keyboard.
Yeah.
Like, what are you even doing here?
Right, you'd hurt to keep it a secret until the day that you died, but you left a note under your keyboard?
Yeah, that's an inconsistency. That's strange.
Within the very first message, who are you leaving the note for, right? You weren't the one who did it. Tyler says, I am. I'm sorry. I thought they caught the person. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude. They interrogated someone in similar clothing. This is also a weird comment to make, because we hear that Tyler Robinson, in fact, changed clothing throughout. So which item of clothing are we referring to, and how were you able to see the other person that they interrogated to be able to confirm that? Right?
I feel like there are two possibilities, or three.
Wait, no. It was all over fucking Twitter. It was all over Twitter, that showing them arresting the guy with his pants falling down around his ankles. And then they also talked about the fact that they had taken other people into custody on the same day. and that they released them, that they were not the person that they were looking for. It was on the fucking news. What do you mean? How would he know the thing that was all over the news?
Number one, these could be totally authentic. That I'm not giving too much weight to at this moment, because I do agree, like, this is a 22-year-old who talks like that.
Also, there seem to be the
He's
same
supposed to be
text.
exceptionally intelligent. He's obviously
Not
bananas.
exceptionally. I would just say like
I thought he was
above
supposed to be
average.
very
like,
intelligent.
Like above average. I wouldn't say he's like brilliant.
Really?
He got a
I know, but
scholarship
it was. I'm not going to do this because I went. It's like a.
So he's not that smart.
I mean, there was a video that got released. He did get a scholarship to the school, right? So he is of above average intelligence.
I know,
if
but
he's
it
to get a
wasn't
full
like
ride for
it wasn't like
college, right?
Harvard.
Okay, so there are two other possibilities. So number one,
Yeah, I was about to say, wasn't it like a fucking community college? Like, it wasn't even like a big school, so.
possibly authentic. Number two, maybe this was staged by the two of them in order to clear
Right.
the
Have you
roommate
seen
from
Breaking Bad?
knowing about it ahead of time. I know what you were
know-
referring to
know
when
that
you meant
clip?
Breaking Bad.
Anna,
Yes,
that is such.
yes.
Do you want to talk about the clip? Or,
Well, really quick, let's just go through the last two strange things with these text
Sure, go ahead.
messages, and then we'll go into that. Then we'll go into the chat GPT.
Well, we didn't get to the third possibility.
Oh, yeah.
Then go to the. Hold on. Come
The third
here.
possibility is that the feds are just totally making this up.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ames,
Yeah.
go.
So the main thing that people were calling out was like the language used here, where he says that he needs, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as I got to my vehicle. This seems to be the thing that everybody's stuck up on, in addition to, I'm worried that what my old man would do if I didn't bring back grandpa's rifle. So the usage of the word vehicle, I mean, I don't know about you. Have you guys ever used the word vehicle in casual
No.
conversation
Absolutely
when
not.
describing your car? See,
like, let's hop in our vehicle to get home. Who says that? Have you ever
Right.
said that?
I just can't tell if the kid is super duper bizarro.
Like, he's just
a
like a little-
murderer. He's having sex.
Let's see. Oh, come on. Like,
biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
yeah, it's all news and police. Why are we looking for the word? Because they're making a big deal about the fact that they're saying that nobody would ever use the word vehicle in common parlance, that it would always be used by like police or in very strict circumstances, that a kid who's messaging his girlfriend would never just say the word vehicle when talking about a car. Now, I do believe it was a cop car, so I think that it makes a bit more sense when you call it a cop, like when it's a cop car, that you call it a vehicle in that scenario. But I was trying to see if there were just a bunch of videos that we could find people saying the word vehicle, and yeah, no, we can't. Nobody's just saying the word vehicle anywhere. So, damn, where can you do that? That's on Filmot. So, for the past like 2 years, I've purposely kept it a secret because there were a ton of people who were constantly combing through my channels looking for anything and everything to take out of context. So, I purposely didn't say anything about it, but now it's become a bit more popular and a bit more well known. So. But that's one of the ways that I was able to do my Candace Owens documentary so quickly, is I was able to use Filmot to go through all of her videos and find any time that she talked about Jewish people or Israel or anything like that. So it makes doing research for videos very, very easy.
Sex with a trans person who thinks that they're an animal.
Right.
And he has an above average IQ.
Yes, he's a furry trans.
Oh, you didn't know that?
That's been confirmed. I didn't know.
Yes,
about- I
sorry,
didn't know
that has
about
been
that.
absolutely confirmed.
Yeah.
And that's another
There's
part of
there's
this that we're
Discord
going
groups
to
and
dive
furries,
into.
and it's a
Did you
whole.
see the bulge?
I mean, he's not a normal
Yes.
kid. Obviously, he's a murderer, but and his brain's got.
So
go
let's
on,
also
Amy.
clarify that as well. I mean, you aware, Anna, of what was inscribed in these bullets?
The bullets
as well?
I know that there was a lot of debate and some misinformation about the inscriptions, but
Yes.
tell me what.
So, hey, fascist catch.
Yes,
is one of them.
yes.
Notice bulges, OWO, and the O's are capitalized. This is a furry community, basically. This is one of their groups.
Weren't some of these inscriptions?
While I will admit again that I think some of these things are a little bit strange, Ana Kasparian and some of these women on here were going to come up with conspiracy theories one way or the other. They don't give a fuck. They're always going to come up with some conspiracy theory. And the reason is because, wait, do I have the, oh, I don't think I have it. Oh, well, never mind. Well, anyways, the reason was because they're populists. All of them. They're fucking populists.
descriptions references to video games that he plays.
One of them
the up,
was
up, down
Ciao
thing.
Bella, reference to an Italian anti-fascist song, Bella Ciao. And then the last one said, if you read this, you are gay.
But the thing is, Amy, there are up, 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 down arrows. That's what you're talking about.
Oh, the reference to the video
Exactly.
game. Okay, got
That's that reference.
So, I mean, already there's the OWO refers to a furry trans group. Now, guys, we're going to break down a little bit more in that piece because it's interesting to see that a lot of people from that Discord server, people from that community had actually come out and posted about Charlie Kirk's assassination ahead of time. Some of them days earlier. One of them was actually, we can actually pull.
Okay, so we went and checked this. It's not true that they actually came out ahead of time. We went and double checked this. It did not come out ahead of time. So you can even check on the Wayback Machine. If you go on the Wayback Machine, so the idea is that a book came out saying like the death of Charlie Kirk, and the script that it gives, the description that it gives is just like saying, just like very bland, general stuff, like a very detailed description of Charlie Kirk's death and the way that it affected America. It was listed on, according to Amazon. Amazon came out and said there was just like a glitch in when it was listed. It told everybody that it was listed on the 9th. It was not listed on the 9th. It was listed on the 10th. And the book and like everything, the entire description, all of it seems to be AI generated. Even when I was reading through the description, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is AI generated. But then we went and read a fact check on it, and it says that when you ran the description through AI and ask it how likely it is that this was AI generated, it says 100%. So it's seems pretty clear that it was probably AI generated and that it was just somebody trying to get ahead of the curve. And the name of the author is somebody that nobody can find. Nobody has any way to figure out who the fuck it was. It was just like, seems like a screen name, just a random name that somebody put up. Maybe they were even going to try to get AI to write the book for them and try to just get it up faster than anybody else. But it was just a glitch on Amazon, just saying that the book was listed ahead of time. But if you use the Wayback Machine, you can see that it was not listed on the 9th. It was listed on the 10th after Charlie Kirk's death. So
Pull it up now, Connor. Let's go ahead and then we can circle back to the ChatGPT thing. So one of them was actually a SoundCloud song, Charlie Kirk dead at 31. I believe there was also a second song that was also posted up ahead of time.
Wait. This was released before he was assassinated?
Before he was assassinated, Anna. Let's go to the Amazon book. There was also an Amazon book that was released. It's in the production doc, Connor, The Shooting of Charlie Kirk.
The post date was earlier.
One day earlier.
Yeah.
And then it disappeared.
One day prior. And then in addition,
yeah, they took it down, said that it violated the terms of service, but that is the book that we were looking up on stream.
to that, Connor, I do have a screenshot from a news article. It was something along the lines of, let me find it here. It'd be funny if someone like Charlie Kirk got shot on September 10th, LMAO. This was reporting by the Washington Free Beacon. There was a assortment of different people who were identifying within the furry community, which, you know, that is an arm of the transgender community, that seemed to have prior awareness that this was going to take place. And for that reason, despite the fact that there have been...
So I didn't hear about the song. I didn't know anything about the song, so let's see. What is Charlie Dead at 31 SoundCloud song by Sky Valadez? Here's all about songs linked to Charlie Kirk's shooter. Oh, it's called Charlie Dead at 31. Not Charlie Kirk. Charlie Dead at 31. Here's all about the songs linked to the Charlie Kirk shooter and online speculation explained. What is Charlie Dead at 31 SoundCloud song by Sky Valadez? The question emerged after fatal shooting of activist Charlie Kirk in Utah on September 10th, 2025. Online discussions suggested that Utah-based musician Sky Valadez uploaded two songs, Charlie Kirk, Dead at 31, and Charlie Kirk's Death Isn't Enough for Me. 4chan had identified Sky Valadez as the shooter. These claims spread quickly across X, but authorities have not confirmed any connection. Sky Valadez reported age, background, has been identified online as a 25-year-old musician from Ogden, Utah. This doesn't say anything about it being posted before the killing. This doesn't say anything about it being posted before the killing. Isn't that what Amy said? Didn't Amy say that the song came out before the killing? Some profiles state that Valadez identifies as a transgender and use she, her pronouns on Facebook. Reports suggest that Valadez has been active on SoundCloud and other music platforms under different project names. So basically, there are two potential suspects. I hope the FBI is looking at blah, blah, blah. Valadez has been described as users, digital artists, produced tracks, the experimental political genre. Name linked to project was God's Finest Scalpel, which included provocative titles critical of American politics. SoundCloud song Charlie Kirk dead at 31. Charlie Kirk's death isn't enough for me. The track Carly... Wait, is this who I'm thinking of? Is this... There's a person who is like a pretty big on TikTok right now, who does a bunch of stuff about like Gaza and Palestine. They uploaded the song in August.
FBI has released photos of a person of
This is a fucking AI person, dude. What the fuck?
interest. Now, online rumors are swirling around the name Sky Valdez, but here's the key. Law enforcement has not confirmed any suspect yet. Be careful what you believe online, because speculation is spreading faster than the facts. FBI has released photos of a person of interest. Now, online rumors are
So weird, dude. So fucking weird. The track Charlie Kirk Dead at 31 was allegedly uploaded in August 2025, about a month before Kirk was shot. User claims the song was later deleted, though screenshots were shared online and archived through Wayback Machine. Okay, no, it's not the same person. Multiple accounts reporting that they may have identified the Charlie Kirk shooter. 4chan Intel identified suspect Sky Valadez had a SoundCloud with a track that was uploaded with a track a month ago titled Charlie Kirk Dead at 31. Deleted the track. How many times are you going to say fucking track, dude? Holy shit. And changed his location. A second track, reportedly titled Charlie Kirk's Death Isn't Enough for Me, was also attributed to Valadez. Some posts claimed that it was included in a digital album called Death to American Scum. The existence of the song has been discussed widely online. However, no verified digital links remain active today. The tracks appear to have been removed from SoundCloud before the shooting took place. Social media users pointed to changes on Valadez's SoundCloud account. They said the profile location originally listed Ogden, Utah, but was later altered to the phrase, "Leave me alone." This change was interpreted by some as suspicious after the shooting. It seems like they were probably getting harassed. I don't think it's all that suspicious. The fucking, not the Groypers, MAGA has been running around doxing everybody and harassing everybody and sending them death threats all the fucking time. So yeah, it sounds pretty normal that they're going to turn around and just change their fucking location and tell people to leave them alone. So weird, so suspicious, guys. What could be the reason for this? Others noted that Valadez had once debated Charlie Kirk during a previous tour stop, adding more weight to the speculation in online forums. These discussions included claims that Valadez had been seen at political events where Kirk appeared. 3 images circulated online showing Valadez in different settings: a yearbook-style photograph, a surveillance still, and a black and white selfie. Users compared these photos with the FBI's person of interest image from the Kirk shooting. Online discussions analyzed features such as jaw, lip, nose, with claiming 80 to 90% similarity. These comparisons, however, were made by anonymous accounts and have not been backed by law enforcement. What is Charlie Dead at 31 SoundCloud song by Sky Valadez? Key pointers. Sky Valadez is a 25-year-old Utah-based musician. See, this one also says Charlie Dead at 31, not Charlie Kirk. Described online as transgender and using she, her pronouns. Valadez was linked to 2 alleged SoundCloud tracks, Charlie Kirk Dead at 31. See, now it's back to Charlie Kirk Dead. And Charlie Kirk's Death Isn't Enough for Me. The track Charlie Kirk Dead at 31 was reportedly uploaded August 2025, about a month before Charlie Kirk was shot. Users claim both songs were deleted, but archived versions and screenshots circulated online. A project name linked to Valdez was God's Finest Scalpel, which allegedly included the track, online users, photos. User X claimed neither Valdez. Are we going to get any fucking information on this, or? It was a track allegedly uploaded August 2025 and later deleted. Okay, I thought there was going to be some sort of like fact check on this shit, but it's just telling me what the conspiracy theory is. So, thanks for nothing. Economic Times. Let's see what the song is.
Yeah. Sometimes life takes somebody before we're ready. Charlie, this one's for you. Rest in peace. He was a voice in the crowd.
Oh no, this is not the one that they... This is not the one that we're looking for. This is some conservative LARPing shit where they actually make AI songs about him. And yeah, this is not R.I.P. Charlie Kirk Dead at 31. Tribute song by R. Kelly. Why by R. Kelly, dude? Oh!
Of the transgender community that seemed to have prior awareness that this was going to take place. And for that reason, despite the fact that there have been ample inconsistencies in trying to put the blame on Tyler Robinson, everything from the text messages, there is a video where someone did a simulation of how long it would have taken to disassemble the rifle and do everything that Tyler was claimed to have done. The time frame simply does not match up. There are some weird things with it. However, when you take that into consideration with the fact that people from this community seem to know about this ahead of time, it does seem like it is a part of some bigger conspiracy. I do not believe
From this community. It's kind of like all black people know each other sort of thing.
that he act alone for at the very least for this reason. That is for sure one part of the official narrative that either they are hiding from us. I'm sure they have information that expands beyond what they've shared currently, because even the internet.
Oh, so true. If they had information about a bunch of trans people being involved in the shooting, they totally would hide it from us and not tell us. Kash Patel would definitely not be screaming this from the rooftops everywhere he can. No shot. No. That would make sense that they would keep that from us. Yeah, totally.
Sleuths have been able to dredge up all of this and have it fact-checked and verified.
I think the heart of this problem is that I don't really have much faith in Kash Patel's leadership as head of the FBI, because he bungled it from the very beginning, starting with all sorts of misinformation that he spread about having the suspect in custody when there was no suspect in custody. I want to know more about that Zinn guy.
Wait, that is not true. They did have a suspect in custody. What the fuck is she talking about? They did too have a suspect in custody. What is wrong with her? What is wrong with her? She is brain dead, dude. She is broken. Something happened to her. She was always extremely stupid. She's always been one of the dumbest people on the internet. But damn, dude. She somehow just got even dumber over the last couple of years.
Who was also, that they arrested? He was at the 9/11.
So this is...
What are the chances of that
He
happening?
claimed that he was like planning to, bomb the Boston Marathon, like around the time that
He's
the
a
Boston
crisis actor.
There's something weird about that guy.
He appears to be a crisis actor, and this is an issue that these people are funded by leftist organizations, PLS, who we've spoken about previously on this show.
Wait, he's funded by leftists? He's funded by leftists? What? What is she talking about? They always have to come up with some oh yeah, these leftist NGOs are funding all of these people to go out and protest, and that's why there's protesters out there. They're paying people to go out there and do this. There's no way the people would go protest unless they were being paid by, some billionaire.
These were one of the funders of the No Kings riot as well, and one of the organizers of that. There are people who are intentionally sending crisis actors into these scenarios, which
Where's
then
she
begs
getting
the
this from?
question, how deep does this go? What don't we know then? Because the likelihood of George Zinn being there, a crisis actor from 9/11 in the exact same place where this took place. I believe they asked ChatGPT, do you know the number? I think it was like
something.
one in
It's like easier to win the lottery.
Yeah,
basically.
than the likelihood that he would have been in both of those locations.
I could not agree with you
wrong with
more.
that guy.
I want to follow up on something that Anna said. It's really, I do want our viewers to fully understand what we mean by the Breaking Bad scenario.
Please.
I'm not going to spoil the show.
It's not all that unlikely. He's a guy who goes to tons of political events all over the place to start shit. He's a crazy person who goes to political events all over the country. It's not that rare to where you're more likely to be. No Kings was a riot. Yes, the No Kings riot, of course. Everybody knows about all the No Kings riots. Yep. So many of them. Yep. I have no fucking idea what they're talking about. They're just bringing up so much random shit.
You can spoil it. It's been forever. If you haven't watched it yet, that's your fault.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Sorry.
It's been like a decade.
But yeah,
It is one of the best shows of all time.
It's just
All transparency.
highly recommend watching it. Just such
So
classic
upsetting because
American
Bryan
TV.
Cranston would probably hate this show because he's so far left,
Oh,
but
really?
he's so
Oh.
talented.
But
It's like,
Bryan,
it
I mean, we
kills
love
me.
you.
It's so, you know what, spoiler
I do
alert.
want to say that, so Walter White was a drug kingpin. He was a chemistry teacher who had cancer and initially just wanted to find a way to pay off his medical bills. But anyway, it spiraled. In the final episode, he berates his wife on the phone. He calls her all sorts of names, saying you're scum, basically. He excoriates her. And that was his attempt to exonerate his wife. Exactly, to make it seem, because he knew
Like
that
she
the
didn't
phone,
know about the drug trade that he was involved in. Yeah.
And so, because he knew that the phone conversation was being tapped. So he wanted to make it seem like he was the only one involved. And so that's what we mean by this text conversation. It seemed really orchestrated and curated, and you could tell that something was missing too. I think texts were deleted.
Yeah. Oh, well, that was obvious because they actually put the ellipsis point there, or the ... or the semicolon, I believe. And so in what they released, that was to indicate that there was some context missing between each of them. So that much has been admitted. I mean, we know for a fact that these were doctored in what manner, but were they doctored or were they just contrived in the first place? That's what a lot of people are kind of starting to feel, especially when you consider that all of these other trans individuals seem to have known that this took place. So how are you going to then message your trans lover and be like, oh, my love, I'm sorry, I had hoped to keep this from you until old age.
We're not
Like,
in the Victorian
no.
age. We're not a Jane Austen character. Like, why is he behaving like...
I mean, maybe he talks like that, but I mean, ChatGPT said structure.
Just to be clear, he is Mormon. All right, or at least he was raised Mormon. But even in a lot of the group chats that he was in, they seem to all say like, hey, let's pray for him. You know, they seem to have a lot of like very Christian, very religious dialogue in there. So it seems he may still be very religiously, very, very active in his Mormon beliefs. But hold on.
Is he behaving like...
I mean, maybe he talks like...
Yeah, the Mormon kids grow up very separated from the rest of the world. They're likely going to be homeschooled. They're normal. It's very cultish, and so they don't want you to have like a whole lot of access to the outside world, which is why a lot of them, when they get outside, act very differently and can even move pretty far left sometimes, because it's going to be a culture shock for a lot of them and feel like they were missing out, or do it to get back at their parents for keeping everything from them. But the fact that he says things like "my love," like, or that they think he talks weird for a Gen Zer, he was Mormon. He probably there's a there's a good chance he actually does just talk like this.
like that, but I mean, ChatGPT said structure and tone, the constant over-explaining, the roommate's
sounds like
responses
Jane Eyre.
as well.
Like, come on. Another thing is, I'm going to drop another TV reference. I love The Wire. Absolutely love it. I love Stringer Bell. I highly recommend everyone watch The Wire. And one of the most critical lessons from that show is do not take notes on a motherfucking criminal conspiracy. It's something that people just know. Like, it's... I think Tyler is smart enough not to leave a paper trail, which leads me to believe that that was intentional.
I thought that was the strangest part
Stringer
about all of
bell.
this. That, like, usually when it comes to these types of crimes or these types of murders, there's no big smoking gun. And it's like, it's just too easy, right? Like, the text message exchange is too easy. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, if you're going to murder someone, you're like considered really, really smart. You have a perfect score on the ACT and all of that. How are you not smart enough to understand that you shouldn't have a digital trail of the crime that you're committing?
Kind of leave something like Luigi Mangione.
Yeah.
You know, he pulls down his face to flirt with the girl, the mask, and it's like, bro, you wore the mask.
I mean,
but then
it's the weakness for men,
But
you
it
know?
just, I'm like,
There's a
what?
pretty lady.
Well, speaking of Luigi Mangione, though, right? 'Cause he had
I don't know. I mean, if I looked like Luigi Mangione, I might also pull down my mask to make sure if I'm not just going to flirt with a girl if I look like that and not pull down my fucking mask. Come on.
being arrested in a McDonald's or something,
Yeah,
right? Something
we should
like
probably
that.
have done a segment on this because his terrorism charges got thrown out. Did you see?
Oh yeah, I did see
So
that.
it got pleaded. It got.
But here's the thing. Well, I'm sorry
Just
to
what, really
go.
quick,
Yeah, go.
they also found a picture of Tyler Robinson inside, I believe it was a Dairy Queen.
Oh yeah.
That was taken
And
at
Candace
a
Owens was-
time that shows that it would have been inconsistent with the timeline that they're describing. So
The
there's
whole
a
thing is
host of
weird.
things.
The whole thing
Yeah.
is weird. And again,
Wait, they found him inside of a Dairy Queen? What is she? They didn't find him anywhere. What are they talking about? They found him inside of a Dairy Queen?
Oh yeah.
What is she talking about?
This because his terrorism charges got thrown out. Did you see?
Oh yeah, I did
So
see that.
it got pleaded. It got.
But here's the thing. Well, I'm sorry
Just
to
what, really
go.
quick,
Yeah, go.
they also found a picture of Tyler Robinson inside, I believe it was a Dairy Queen.
Oh yeah.
That was taken
And
at
Candace
a
Owens was-
time that shows that it would have been inconsistent with the timeline that they're describing.
I don't see. They're not like. This is so frustrating because they're talking about a bunch of stuff, but they're not putting up any like screenshots of anything. They're not showing us what they're talking about. They just keep saying random shit. They found a picture of him inside of a Dairy Queen. They found a picture of him inside of a Dairy Queen, and the picture wouldn't line up. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? I have no idea what they're talking about. Was Tyler Robinson at a Dairy Queen after Charlie Kirk's shooting? What we know. Tyler Robinson appears to have been spotted in a Dairy Queen in Orem, Utah after the shooting of Charlie Kirk. The conservative influencer Candace Owens released an image purporting to show the alleged murderer at the outlet during an episode of her podcast. Oh, okay, now I get it. So they're just watching Candace Owens episodes and then just repeating everything that she's saying. Okay. All right. Why it matters, I don't care. What to know. Owens shared on her podcast and in a reel on Instagram that she had an exclusive image of Tyler Robinson. All right, okay, I don't know why they linked the term Instagram if they didn't actually have the picture there. I thought they were going to send me to her. Fuck. I thought they were going to send me to the fucking Instagram. The photograph, which had... this doesn't actually look all that much like him. It does to an extent. I can't tell. I guess... No, it does. Okay, no, it does. I for some reason, I was seeing his face a little bit different at first, but now I see the shadows. Okay. The photograph, which had not been previously released, appears to show Robinson at a Dairy Queen. Owen said the image was taken at 6:38 p.m. after the shooting. The picture appears to show Robinson wearing a maroon t-shirt with a cap, his head turned. Owen said the nearby Dairy Queen was around 15 minutes away from the campus. The image has not been verified by law enforcement or any official entity. Newsweek has not independently verified the image. The reel, shared to Instagram, has been viewed more than 1 million times as of reporting. A post about the image has been viewed more than 5 million times on X. Authorities said that Robinson had arrived on campus in a Dodge Challenger at around 8:30 a.m. on September 10th. Kirk was shot and killed at 12:23 p.m. on September 10th. If the image is legitimate, this would mean that Robinson was at the Dairy Queen more than 6 hours after the shooting. Okay, wait, so if it's 6 hours after, why would that not line up? Why wouldn't that line up? The Dairy Queen spotting bears similarities with the arrest of Luigi Mangione. who was accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Mangione was arrested in a Pennsylvania McDonald's following a search for Thompson's killer. Owens has been posting consistently about Kirk's death and the shooting. The two had been friends, and Owens had previously worked at Turning Point USA. Owens has been criticized for some of what she has posted following Kirk's death, which has been described by some as rumors and conspiracy theories. Joel Berry, who is the managing editor of the Babylon Bee, shared a message from Charlie Kirk's pastor, Rob McCoy, on X September 16th. Read in part, Kirk, would never have treated Candace or her family in such a way that had, God forbid, this tragedy been hers. What? Did I move on to a different fucking topic, or? Okay, I'm so lost. All right.
Capital felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-5-202, in that on September 10th, 2025, in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances.
Okay. If it's 6 hours later, why would that not line up? How would that not line up at all?
So
the whole thing is weird. The whole thing
Yeah.
is weird. And again, it goes back to people not really trusting our government institutions. I don't have a lot of faith in Kash Patel for a number of different reasons, including the way he has handled this investigation from the beginning. You know, he even said something really strange about how there was like some sort of confession note that Tyler Robinson had sent to his friends, but it got destroyed. And thanks to the FBI's aggressive interview posture, they have forensic evidence of it. Like, I'm just like, what are you talking?
He was talking about the note that he left under the fucking keyboard. What do you mean? It was the note that was left under the keyboard. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right, yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, and you keep saying different things. Clearly, even the federal government doesn't have much trust in Kash Patel because he went to Orrin, Utah to join that press conference before they had finally apprehended the suspect. And he didn't say a single word. You want to know why? Because the Trump administration basically told him to shut up and don't say anything. You're like ruining, you know, with your public statements, you're kind of ruining this investigation.
It's bad PR, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Anna, you're spot on. And Trump may not be saying that he's losing faith in Kash Patel, but you know what he did? He helicoptered somebody in. Dan Bongino's deputy, they just helicoptered in co-deputy Andrew Bailey. That they did not expect that to happen. That's what you do. You don't say a word, but you layer people in, and you make the people obsolete.
There are rumors that he's going to replace Kash Patel. I don't know if there's much credibility to those rumors.
No way.
But
I didn't even know Dan Bongino was back. I thought that he was still like just gone after the whole Epstein thing.
He hasn't replaced anyone yet.
I mean,
there have
there's
been
also
people
rumors
you
that
could
he's
have
gonna
replaced.
Pam
Bondi.
Yeah, people are calling to have her replaced.
I agree.
mean,
No way.
How does she not know what our constitutional rights are? How do you not know
To
that
call for
hate speech
I mean,
hate speech is protected under our constitution?
Ironically, I don't think Trump cares about that. I think he actually loves the fact that she
Oh,
said
he
that.
does. He wants
but he's upset that she's not going after his enemies.
Oh yeah, we
vigorously
all
enough.
saw that tweet. Yeah,
Yeah, that should have been a
the
DM.
true social
Should have been a
post,
DM.
it should have been a DM. Yes. All right, guys.
Okay.
Let's kind of pivot. There's one more massive conspiracy that we have to talk about. We wouldn't be reporting on the news if we didn't address it. Let me preface by saying I do not think that this is the case. Okay, so everyone go
There are
easy.
also two things.
Don't
You're
come
going
at
to
me.
cover two things, right? There's the Israel and the Ackman, right?
Yeah,
Two separate
yeah.
things.
I mean, these are two separate things, but people are kind of lumping them into
They're
one
conflating
thing,
them,
right?
yeah.
They are
Shouldn't be.
They are for sure conflating them, and they shouldn't be. We're going to get into all of that. So, Charlie Kirk has been pro-Israel. He has been taking money from Jewish donors. He has been doing his part to win the hearts of Generation Z on this issue, specifically as it relates to Israel and Palestine, and trying to encourage Christians to be more supportive of Jews, Judeo-Christian values, everything like this. Now, rumors have come out that he was in fact breaking with a lot of those ties and was starting to come into disagreement with many of these donors and even with the president himself. I mean, we saw...
Honestly, I think if we're going to put in any sort of conspiracy to what it was that Charlie Kirk was doing, where like he was breaking with them and now they're coming after him or something, I think it would be more likely that Charlie Kirk noticed that the tide was turning when it came to Gen Z and the way that they viewed Israel-Palestine, and that he wanted to seem very critical of Israel while also being in favor of Israel, being on their side. He wanted to make sure that he was appealing to these people. And so he did very small things like, I think all he did was like debate some pro-Gaza, pro-Palestine people, like Dave Smith, and then everybody started, supposedly everybody started calling him anti-Semitic just for having Dave Smith on. I didn't see anybody calling him anti-Semitic. I don't know where this came from, but supposedly that's the case. Then he started doing these sessions with a bunch of groypers all sitting around talking about the fact that, like, yeah, see, we're not anti-Semitic just for criticizing Israel, right, guys? Yeah, we can be in favor of Israel and criticize them sometimes, right? Like, that doesn't make us anti-Semitic, right? Like, he seemed to posture this position that was critical of Israel without ever really actually being critical of Israel. And the fact that the guy who says, oh yeah, Gaza used to throw gays off of tall buildings, but they don't have tall buildings anymore. Ha ha ha, too soon. That's what you get, you fucking Muslims. Like, the fact that that guy is all of a sudden super sympathetic to Gazans, nah, bruh. It's not conspiratorial, though. He demonstrated before that he had major audience capture. Sure, well, I'm saying that the conspiracy would be that he was posturing this anti-Israel thing to make it seem as though people were attacking him for this, to make it seem as though people were calling him anti-Semitic, to make it seem as though he was a victim of the ADL and all of these pro-Jewish lobbying firms who were all coming after him and calling him a Nazi now. And it just, I didn't see it. I don't know where it came from. And so now they're trying to just put this forward to make it seem as though that's the case, so that he can now appeal to the Gen Z crowd who is a lot more anti-Israel. And then while he's appealing to them, he's able to have this very pro-Israel image in the middle of it.
Or that shortly after the Epstein release, right?
I don't have any evidence for that or anything, but I'm saying that is like, if there was some sort of conspiracy that I was going to believe about that, that's what it would be. Not that he was actually moving away from Israel and moving against them, but that he was actually doing this for them. And that this was all just a marketing point.
Right, he came out and said, "Oh, I'm going to stop talking about this because, I want to trust the government." Then he backtracked on that. We have it on good word from a few people that he, was against the regime change war that was going to be occurring in Iran. And he wanted to speak out against these things. Yes.
He was pretty public about it. Like, Charlie, it's not like he was hiding the ball. I mean, he was against engaging in a regime change war in Iran. That was one of the areas I agreed with him on. But he was very much, supportive of Zionists, and that is a consistent theme you'll notice throughout his career.
Exactly.
It's just that in recent months, he started to become a little more critical of Netanyahu, critical of the ongoing, genocide in Gaza. And it's not like he turned his back on Israel.
Not at all, not at all. And also the fact, we're going to dive into it in a minute, but that he was being called anti-Semitic for just providing slight pushback. So let's go ahead and bring up this tweet here. I'm not going to name names, but I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against him. Now, this was posted. Yeah, was that cropped off, Connor? I think I actually just put the link to the tweet in there. Maybe it was cropped off, but this was
whoever the Connor guy is that does their production seems to really suck. Like, I'm sorry, Connor. Sorry, I'm sure that they are very difficult to deal with, but every single time I watch this show, they're having problems with Connor and whether or not the stuff that they're asking for is up on the screen and whether or not they're showing it. This happened live. So just for everybody, this show was live and we're watching like the live portion of what happened here. And it gets very ridiculous towards the end. It gets very out of hand.
Well in advance. This is back in August. Okay?
Yep.
This tweet was posted, and obviously nobody gave any credibility to it at the time. But then, after his assassination, people started to go back and look at various different clips. One of which that has gotten a lot of attention was his conversation with Megyn Kelly. If you have that one, Connor, we could play that, please. Should be inside of the production document. It's a link, Connor. It's a link. And so basically, he jumps on with Megyn Kelly, and they are discussing the fact, if you go into videos,
So this just
Megyn Kelly, Israel conspiracy.
Just to give you guys a little more context into this conversation with Megyn Kelly, literally
No, not that one.
the day before, he had this exchange with Megyn Kelly. He had gone to the Hamptons, I believe, for a meeting in which Bill Ackman was involved. And we'll get to the details of that meeting in just a minute. But
Yes, we can go ahead and play this, please.
We're just going to try to, we're going to just stamp out everything type of practice. But it goes to the point where if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government without backlash than actual Israelis do. And that's really, really weird, isn't it, Megyn? That's not
so
right.
Wrong-headed. I'll tell you, this, for me, so I got some blowback after saying Mossad possibilities with Epstein, a comment behind which I stand. I mean,
See, this is what I'm talking about. The fact that they had some of the most bland criticisms of all time, and then they still said that everybody ran around calling them anti-Semitic and shit. And this is the thing that, like, anti-Semites actually do this. Like, anti-Semites all the time do this thing where they come up with bullshit conspiracy theories that don't make any sense, that they don't have any evidence for, but they just want to blame Israel for something. And so they just come up with these crazy theories to say that this is what Israel did. And then afterwards, when people are like, yo, that's fucking anti-Semitic as fuck, dude. Like, you're just always trying to find some way to say Israel bad or Jews bad. And they turn around, dude, it's not anti-Semitic to just criticize Israel. Like, I'm allowed to criticize Israel, okay? Like, Israel's allowed to do bad things, and I'm allowed to say that Israel's bad sometimes. Like, I'm allowed to be critical of them without hating the Jews and being a Nazi. And, like, this is what anti-Semites do all the time. It's Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, like, all these people do this shit all the time. So it seemed like a lot of these people started to put that on. They started to wear that and just give the most bland nothingness criticisms and then start saying, they're all calling me an anti-Semite, and I'm just saying, like, I think it's okay to criticize Israel sometimes. I think it's okay. I don't think I'm anti-Semitic just for criticizing Israel once in a while, and so it's just my opinion. It's bullshit. It's just pure bullshit. It seems like it's just them trying to use the rhetoric that all of the anti-Semites actually use all the time. So
I've of course reported what Alan Dershowitz has said as his lawyer. He says, I think he would have told me. He didn't say he had any of those connections. I hear all that. That doesn't mean it's not true. I think all these things should be explored. It's one of the many things that should be explored around Epstein. But saying that, and also saying he might be a U.S. asset, et cetera, doesn't make you anti-Semitic.
We're just going to try to, we're going to just stamp out everything type of.
I think it's repeated. Thank you. So obviously he was starting to become more boisterous and vocal about some of the issues that he has. Again, in no way is he saying we're pro-Hamas. Obviously he wants Israel to win the war.
What Anna said, wait, hold on. What Anna said.
But there was a bunch of these. Like, this whole thing seemed like, I hate using these fucking terms, but this whole thing just seemed like a fucking psyop, dude. Like, it really did. This came off like the biggest psyop of all time.
How many of you guys think when a lawmaker and a man I respect like Ted Cruz uses the Bible to justify aid to Israel, doesn't even know the verse, do you guys think that's like not the best way to approach this? Raise your hand. Okay.
I think Ted Cruz used Genesis 12:3. I think a lot of people see that as off-putting when you look at the New Testament.
Why?
So just to be clear, Ted Cruz did not use the Bible to justify aid to Israel. He literally said, this is my personal belief, is that I think that we ought to help Israel because the Bible says so, but he's like, that is not my, like, governmental position on, like, why we ought to give them aid. I separate my Christian beliefs and my and what it is that I do in legislation, and so these are not the same things. That is what Ted Cruz said, but all the nutjobs ran around acting like he said the exact opposite of what he said. So,
because I think a lot of people, they look especially at the writings of Paul, where he talks about how the new flesh is not the same as the people in the old covenant. The new flesh is.
Doesn't that sound like plausible deniability? It doesn't matter. The point is that he said that that's what he said. It doesn't matter if it's plausible deniability or if you think that Ted Cruz actually does that. He said Ted Cruz said this, and I'm saying he didn't say that. That's wrong.
Everyone's included.
Talking about Romans 9.
Yes, 9:6. Yeah.
Are you Catholic?
Converted to Catholic from Judaism.
I can tell.
This is my next.
Oh, from Judaism?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So you're ethnically Jewish.
Ethnically Jewish, yes.
And you have concerns about AIPAC.
Yes, I do.
I'm told that by some people that if I criticize AIPAC, I'm anti-Semitic.
Aw.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like it's right.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, you know what? Me personally, it's just my personal beliefs. I think you can criticize AIPAC and not be anti-Semitic. I think it's just what I think. It's just my personal opinion. But he brought up the Bible to justify his position. Why would he bring it up then? Because again, I just said he was giving two different positions. He's giving one is like his personal beliefs is like why he wants to support Israel, and then the other one was like him saying, I'm not going to vote on legislation based on what the Bible says. I'm going to vote on legislation based on what it is my constituents want and what it is that's best for America. My religious beliefs have nothing to do with that. So I just explained that, like, that is, when I was a Christian, my beliefs were separate as well. I would say I have my religious beliefs, I have my Christian beliefs, but what I believe should be done in legislation is completely separate. I have a totally separate thought process for this. And I think that's very normal for religious people. I think it was, I believe Cherry just nonstop attacked Not So Erudite for this. Because Not So Erudite said that she would like vote on legislation and her politics were very different based on what she wanted for Canada or her country versus like what her religious beliefs were and what those said. And Cherry ran around for the longest time saying that Not So Erudite had two different moral positions, and I think that that's pretty common for Christians, is that, yeah, you have your religion, but you don't want to run the country based on your religion. You don't want the country to be held to your religious beliefs, so you vote on things based a little bit differently.
In that clip, he is saying he's being criticized for giving an audience to people like Dave Smith. He is not saying that he is changing his mind and thinks the Jews are evil. Like,
no, he wasn't changing his mind.
No, I think he was changing his mind. I mean, I think the clip that I just showed a second ago is evidence of that. And I think even this as well is evidence that he was posturing, that he was changing his mind on things.
Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the #1 funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by...
See, he's just stating facts here. Like, he is posturing that he was changing his mind. He's trying to make it sound like he changed his mind on things, that he was moving to the other side. This is just a fact, right? You can just say things that are very factual and make it sound like you're on the other side. And he's just saying, oh yeah, Jewish people? Yes, they have been funding a lot of liberal and Democrat policies and positions and lobbyists, and yeah, I'm not in favor of it. It's like, yeah, no fucking duh, because liberals are against conservatives, and it is just a fact that the majority of Jewish people are liberals, and so yeah, like it is just a fact that is the case. But yes, he can just state facts and sound like he's on the other side, but these are facts that in the past he never would have stated. He never would have said these things. And if he heard somebody like Nick Fuentes say these things, he would have said that Nick Fuentes was a fucking neo-Nazi for it. But he started just stating facts to kind of dog whistle something that he didn't even actually believe. It's that's what I think. I think that's what he was doing.
By secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just colleges. It's the
neoliberal and Marxist at the same time is crazy. Yes, I'm telling you, conservatives use words to mean totally different things than what the rest of the world uses them to mean. Like, they have made up their own fucking language over there. Because obviously neoliberalism is hardcore in favor of capitalism, very little regulations, very hawkish. And then when it comes to Marxists, they're not hawkish at all. They're very against war. They're very against capitalism. They want as many regulations as possible while we still have capitalism. They are exact opposites of one another. But yeah, conservatives, as I said, when I moved from being a conservative to being a liberal, the major thing that I realized is that I was just being lied to about everything. What it is that liberals believed, what it is that they said, what it is that they thought, what it is that they argued. Everything was just a lie from top to bottom. I've spent the last couple of days on Twitter arguing with a bunch of people who think that arguing with a bunch of people who think that DEI is like a big hiring practice to hire black people more often. DEI has nothing to do with hiring black people more often. It has literally nothing to do with it, but that's what they think it is. They think it's affirmative action. Affirmative action, sure, that was racist. That, like, affirmative action is discriminatory practice to hire minorities at a higher rate. DEI is the exact opposite. DEI is like a pledge to not discriminate against anybody. DEI is not as much about, like, you'll take a pledge to not discriminate within hiring practices, but the majority of DEI is about making a workplace that's going to be accepting to all, like, religions, to all nationalities, to all races, to all ethnicities, to make it to where if you have, like, people that you really want to hire, but it's somebody who is from some sort of, like, minority status group, you don't want them to come work for you and then not feel comfortable there, not feel welcome there, and then leave. And now you just had some, like, high recruit that you lost because of this. So they do everything they can to make their workplaces more accepting and more welcoming, so that anytime they have people that are from some sort of minority status, that they're not going to lose them in the meantime. But
I want to be real clear here.
No, but
because I think this is dangerous, and I want to be fucking deadly accurate if we're gonna have this conversation. So that's what he was talking about.
So why would people be against that? Because, again, that conservatives don't believe that DEI is that. They say DEI is hiring more black people. That's what they believe DEI is. That's affirmative action. Affirmative action is something that is somewhat discriminatory, but DEI is literally the exact opposite, where it's saying, do not discriminate. Do not discriminate based on any of these things.
It's about the fact that Dave Smith, he gave him an audience at Turning Point, and he was being criticized for having people who didn't agree, like Tucker, on the stage. He wasn't saying,
So the
I have
donors-
changed my mind here, and I'm being attacked. That's
But
not
so
what he was saying.
what's playing out behind the scenes is that, you know, Turning Point USA has some very wealthy pro-Zionist donors. Those donors had a problem with the inclusion of Dave Smith and Tucker Carlson at that Turning Point, you know, event.
Again, I don't know who was upset with him for these things. I don't know who called him out for these things. I don't know who said that this was a problem. Unless it was just, like, platforming Dave Smith, which I do believe Dave Smith says some very anti-Semitic things. He uses his Jewishness as a shield to act as though he's not anti-Semitic at all, but I do believe he says some very anti-Semitic things sometimes and engages in a lot of Jewish conspiracy theorism. But I don't know who was making these arguments. I don't know who was saying this. Maybe the ADL? Like, it would have to be people from the left, right? It's not going to be conservative. She's making it sound like it's Turning Point USA people who donate to Turning Point USA, conservatives who are upset with this. I don't think it would be conservatives who are saying this, that Charlie Kirk's entire thing is going and arguing with people, pretending to argue with people that he disagrees with. So, I don't know. Let's see. ADL. Anti-Semitic and anti-Israel conspiracy theories follow fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't, so maybe it was not, yeah, Ian Carroll's been going hard on the fucking Israel shit, dude. After the shooting of Charlie Kirk, this motherfucker. Oh, is the video actually gone? Oh, it's gone. Okay, yeah, there was a video from Ian Carroll that I had saved to watch today, but it is gone. Yeah, I have no idea where the claims of anti-Semitism was coming from. It seems like it was just something that he was lying about and saying that people were calling him anti-Semitic, but I don't know who the fuck actually did that, so I have no idea where this was coming from.
About 30 minutes ago, FBI admitted it had 270-plus plainclothed officers in the January 6th crowds stroking the Capitol. Sweep that.
this year.
Also, the fact that he was talking about Epstein.
And the fact that he was talking about Epstein, yes. So basically, he's getting this pressure from donors, which led to that meeting in the Hamptons with Bill Ackman, because Bill Ackman apparently wasn't happy with it either. But you guys also have to understand that there is a trend now with young conservatives who are not supportive of Israel or not as supportive as previous generations. So you have young people who are part of Turning Point, who go to the Turning Point events, and they're constantly debating with Charlie Kirk about this issue. And Charlie Kirk wants to be inclusive. Like, the whole point of what he was doing was to engage in debate and dialogue. So he includes, Dave Smith. He includes Tucker Carlson, just different voices. And then he gets, according to them, hounded by the donors. So that
hammered is a word that...
Hammered, that's right. Hammered was a word that was
And by the way, Connor, I sent you a video. If we could pull this up, this kind of addresses a little bit more about what you say.
Also,
just one more thing
what
that I
Anna
wanted to
said
watch.
was so critical. A couple lines ago, you said the timing. We cannot forget the timing, because this is the day after. How do you think that summit went? Like, how do you think it...
He seemed annoyed by it, at the very
extremely
least.
annoyed.
Yeah.
All right, let's play this.
They have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the number one
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. They're playing the thing that I literally just played. All right.
funding mechanism of radical open border neoliberal quasi-Marxist policy. And Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the number one funding mechanism of radical open border neoliberal quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like time for you guys to wake up and say no more. Draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me.
I mean, I can narrow it down. I can narrow it down. It's George Soros who's primarily funding all this.
But what does that have to do with him being critical about what's going on in Gaza?
Because he's been increasingly
saying all
critical.
of you liberal institutions that are now being killed off by your own Frankenstein, like these things that you created, wake up and pay attention.
Bro, I'm gonna be blown away if Anna doesn't say anything about the contradiction there between neoliberal and quasi-Marxist, because she has always hated neoliberals. She's always talked a lot of shit about neoliberals. So I'm totally expecting her to point out that contradiction there.
He was critical. So he was definitely critical of the pressure he was getting from his donors.
Fair, but there is absolutely no evidence whatsoever.
I didn't even hear him talk about his own donors. Where the fuck did he ever talk about his own donors? Where did that happen? Where did he talk about his donors? Where did he say anything about his own fucking donors? She keeps saying that it's the Turning Point USA donors and that they were pressuring him. Where are you getting this from, Anna? Where? Where did that come from?
Quite to the contrary.
Well, apparently he was offered $150 million infusion into Turning Point USA, which would have then
There's
doubled.
no proof of that. In fact, the opposite is true, and even PBD showed that on his show.
I mean,
that this came from a guy who writes for like radical.
Max Blumenthal.
We
talking about Max Blumenthal Gray Zone.
We have a clip of PBD debunked.
Jillian, when you say there's no evidence for those things, these people are not interested in that. Lindy Lee is the most blatant grifter I have ever come across in my entire fucking life. She is like I wouldn't even call Ana Kasparian a grifter. I wouldn't call Candace Owens a grifter. I would not call Tim Pool a grifter. Lindy Lee is a fucking grifter. This is the most grifty fucking grifter of all time. She is the most blatant grifter I have ever seen in my life. I want to make a video on her and just kind of go over how much of a fucking grifter she is.
I actually found his reporting to be fairly credible. I mean,
play it.
it was validated by Tucker Carlson.
Play the clip, please.
If you look at this one, this is AF Post. They said, according to multiple reports, Israel Prime Minister offered the Charlie Kirk Turning Point USA $150 million in cash to adopt an even more pro-Israel stance. Kirk refused the money. If you go a little bit lower, look at the amount of views this thing got. 7.2 million views, 160,000 likes.
Who's the
And then there's another.
Who is this? America First? AF Post America First? This is from Groypers? According to multiple reports, Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu offered Charlie Kirk's TPUSA $150 million in cash to adopt an even more ardently pro-Israel stance. Kirk refused the money. This is... AF Post is America First, right? Am I crazy? Is it America First as in Groypers, like Nick Fuentes, or is it America First as in, like, Donald Trump? News and alerts from around the world from an American first perspective. Not affiliated with any organization, podcast, or activist. afpost.news. I don't know who this is. I can't tell. I'm going to assume it is MAGA.
The money, if you go a little bit lower, look at the amount of views this thing got. 7.2 million views, 160,000 likes.
Who's the
And then there's
AF
another
post?
post, Rob, if you can pull up the other one that says, right below it, that says the journalist behind the report accusing Bibi of offering $150 million is Max Blumenthal, a man who used to work for the Iran-backed newspaper Al Akbar in Beirut and
also
contributed
Jewish?
to Al Jazeera.
Max Blumenthal is Jewish, but he's also kind of anti-Semitic. He's an Israeli conspiracy theorist or a Jewish conspiracy theorist.
He is, yeah.
I mean,
Why is it
so-
every time we track down a lie, we end up finding people connected to Qatar or Iran?
There's no proof
behind
this
it?
ever happened.
So
None.
Wait, how does that debunk the fact
so
that?
he just read it. and
Where's
then-
your proof that $150 million was offered from Bibi Netanyahu?
No, I'm referring.
Where is
Wait,
the proof?
please do not get any.
No, because I didn't want to cover this, and you guys insisted. And I told
Yeah, she did say that like they kind of debunked it. They didn't debunk it at all. And Lindy is asking like a good question here. Where did they debunk this? They didn't debunk it. They just pointed out something was a little suspicious about this, and that's it. But yeah, both of them are kind of correct. She shouldn't have said that they debunked it. She should have just stuck with the term. There's no evidence to back this up. Nobody's shown any evidence to back this up whatsoever, and so we have no reason to believe this. But Lindy is correct. Yeah, this is not a debunking.
you cover this shit, I'm going to rip you apart. Where is the proof?
We're not
that
saying that
Bibi
it happened.
Netanyahu
We're really
offered
not
Charlie
saying that it
$150 million.
Jillian,
Okay, so we're not. Okay, so
what we're
conversely,
reporting on is
now
people
there
in the
is-
marketplace, what they're saying. This is a discussion that's happening literally everywhere. We would be remiss if we didn't cover
It's
it
a
to
week
debunk it.
old, this conversation.
It's
over
I mean,
a
it's
week.
still
That
pretty-
This is happening everywhere? This isn't happening everywhere. Maybe in y'all's fucking circles. I haven't heard about half this shit. What are you talking about?
Prevalent.
is a week old.
It's still going on, Jillian.
Okay, well, nevertheless, where is the proof that actually
Wait,
happened?
it's still going on? What is still going on?
They're saying this is a discussion that's happening literally everywhere. We would be remiss if we didn't cover
It's
it
a
to
week
debunk
old,
it.
this conversation.
It's still,
Over
I mean,
a
it's
week.
still
That
pretty prevalent.
is a week old.
It's still going on, Jillian.
Okay, well, nevertheless, where is the
Oh,
proof?
okay. I thought Jillian said that's illegal, but she said that's a week-old article. Okay.
that actually
Jillian,
happened.
I just said, according to this guy's reporting, he was offered $150 million.
Okay,
that was
wasn't it
also
also
corroborated by
Chuck
Candace?
It was
and
corroborated by
Carlson.
Candace, and not only that, by
Candace.
Nick.
And also
okay,
back
because that's listen. I like Candace. She has people from his own team have said he has not seen her in years.
And yet last year they were on tour together. Last year they were on tour together.
Wait,
So
no,
that
no.
debunked that
Wait, if you
instantly.
want to talk about people on
Last
his team,
time they've been on camera together was
Andrew,
Well, they are all talking over her this entire time as well. Like this is infuriating because she's trying to like make an argument, and every time she starts talking, a lot of them have spent like 2 to 3 minutes giving entire takes. Every single time she started to talk, they've started talking over her. And 2 or 3 times now, as soon as they started talking over her, she stopped and goes, "No, go ahead." She has spoken the least out of everybody at this fucking table, and seems to be the only voice of reason right now. And I say that like that's not saying much, okay? This is not all that much reason that it takes. I mean, she did just try to fucking source PBD just a second ago, okay? So it's not a whole lot of reason happening here. And she is still way closer to getting to the truth than any of these dumb fucks. So.
Last year they were on tour together.
Wait,
So that
no,
debunked that
wait, if you
instantly.
want
That
to talk about
completely
people on
debunked
his
that.
team,
time they've been on camera together was
Andrew, his
2023.
press
No, it was last year.
hold on,
They have a
Andrew,
tour
that
cruise
guy
together.
was on
Okay,
so guys,
everybody
let's
on
calm
his
down.
team
Let's just calm down
has
for a second.
subsequently said this is not true.
No, they
Ms.
never- they
Castor,
never- they actually-
Colvin,
they
Eric Balling, all of them are like, yeah.
Okay, Eric Bowling thought that he had 2 daughters. Okay, so I'm not going to.
Okay, Andrew Colvin. The narrative is not true.
Andrew said,
Charlie has a cordial relationship with Ackman. There's no black woman,
also,
no
he
intervention.
said,
Nothing like what Candace is suggesting.
That same Andrew said that
Okay.
Candace and Charlie remain friends. I just wanted
He's
to make sure.
saying this is not true.
But they were literally touring together last
Nothing
year.
like what Candace is suggesting. What does that have to do with
Wait,
their
what does
friendship?
that have to do with you? Just
What
said
does that have to do with their friendship? He's
Jillian,
saying what
you're-
Candace
I
is
can't
suggesting.
engage with
Candace Owens didn't even show up to his fucking funeral. She didn't go to the funeral. She didn't go to the memorial. She didn't go to any of the stuff. I don't know anything about the Bill Ackman thing. I can't even remember who Ackman is right now. Grifters desecrating Charlie Kirk's memory could implode MAGA opinion. Is it really too much to ask that a murdered young man be given the dignity of a proper burial before bad faith opportunists attempt to posthumously rewrite his legacy to better serve their own nefarious ends? Is it really too much to ask that a murdered young man's family and friends, to say nothing of the countless individuals whose lives the young man touched and inspired, be allowed to mourn in peace without having to fend off charlatans seeking to hijack his memory to advance their pet crusades? Apparently, yes, it is. The body of my friend Charlie Kirk, who was tragically assassinated last week during the campus event in Utah by a leftist transgender adjacent furry fetishist, had barely returned home to Arizona before some grifters on ostensible right started trying to capitalize on his memory. Instead of focusing on the metastasizing evil of a distinctly leftist political violence or the fact that transgenderism had yet again found itself implicated in a horrific shooting. Bro, if they're going to do this with transgenderism, we need to start doing this with fucking Christianity. If this is how they're going to, because all you have to be is just on the left and you're probably pro-trans in some way. And as long as you're pro-trans in some way, now anything you do is going to be attached to that transgenderism. And so now we need to do the same thing for all these fucking Christian kids who are running around engaging in these mass murders. Like, if that's the game we're going to play. As any sane conservative would have done, these agents of chaos decided it would be most appropriate to just ask questions about, you guessed it, the Jews. Disgraced podcaster Candace Owens, never one to miss any opportunity to slander Jewish people, took precious time away from her Bridget Macron legal defense to suggest that Jewish people or the Jewish state of Israel were somehow involved in Kirk's assassination. To hear Owens tell it, Kirk, a lifelong vocal supporter of the Jewish people and the Jewish state, was souring on Israel and was getting close to publicly adopting a hostile stance. Oh, and what's more, per Owens, Bill Ackman, the billionaire hedge funder and proud Zionist, staged an intervention with Kirk during a retreat last month in the Hamptons, where Ackman pressured Kirk to get in line on the Israel issue. Notably, numerous high-profile cable news has-beens have legitimized Owens' outrageous laundering of a left-wing political assassination into an anti-Semitic caper. Kirk and, let's see, as for the Hamptons retreat last month, I was there. Oh, Kirk had personally texted me to invite me, and I had inscribed book copies for two special retreat attendees, Kirk and Ackman. Put simply, there was no intervention. Not from Ackman, not from Babylon Bee CEO Seth Dillon, not from anyone else. The retreat featured numerous open-ended conversations, usually moderated by Kirk, and only one of which was actually about Israel itself. The conversations were spirited and robust, but hardly rancorous. Kirk was critical of the way some pro-Israel advocates advanced their arguments, but he was not critical of the underlying substance. On the contrary, he only doubled down on his opinions to Islam.
King tipped $5. Can I call in to share my speculation about the Kirk shooting and you can tell me how plausible or dumb it is? Lol.
Yes, definitely. I got to get through all of this first because this is turning out to be a lot more than I had anticipated. But give me a little bit to get through like the Anna response real quick, and then I will definitely have time. On the contrary, he only doubled down on his opposition to Islam and suggested that Israel is a natural ally in the fight against jihadism. Ackman and Kirk interacted very amicably. Okay. All right.
If you don't
he is
calm
saying
down.
what Candace is suggesting is not true.
He's talking about her suggesting Israel killed him. We're talking about
Yes.
100. Please do not conflate the two.
Okay, well, unilaterally across the board now, we've got multiple accusations that all pile up to the same exact...
No, I think it's the furries. It's the furries. I think it's the furries. But a lot of people...
I don't know, and I don't... Look,
There's
For those who are
zero
saying
evidence to suggest none.
Okay, you're saying, guys, can we just stop for a second? This is ridiculous.
This is absurd.
Like, this whole thing is ridiculous. There are two things being conflated right now. There are conspiracy theorists who think Israel killed Charlie Kirk. They have yet to provide a shred of evidence proving that. Done. End
We're
of
not
story.
talking about that
I am
today.
talking about something
You
entirely
were talking
different.
about
No,
that.
we're not. Hold on.
Oh, you
Let
were
me
talking
finish
about
my
that.
fucking thought. Okay, the real issue here is that before most people even knew that Charlie Kirk was dead, you have Netanyahu giving multiple interviews.
Anna is like so consistently so unprofessional, bro. I don't know how anybody deals with this fucking bitch. Like, she is always so unprofessional and so ridiculous in the way that she argues shit. And obviously, even in the way that she presents information, that she's willing to just ask questions and then act like this is her doing her journalistic duty by putting out possible theories that she has nothing to back and no reason to think, but she'll just throw it out into the ether, knowing that a lot of people are probably going to latch onto that and think that it's true because she just asked these questions. She's so irresponsible. I don't know how the fuck anybody would put money into a show that includes Ana Kasparian or Lindy Lee.
Talking about how, using the fucking moment for his own political purposes, like the fucking
That's
ghoul that he is.
totally
Let me finish my
different
point.
than him killing Charlie Kirk.
Did I not
never
just?
said that.
I literally
Okay, so
just
now we're just gonna make
let
a
me finish
sidebar.
my point, Jillian, because none of us can finish the damn point without someone else jumping down your throat.
What? Dude, again, but Anna's probably spoken more than anybody else here. Jillian is one that's getting interrupted the entire fucking time. You gotta be kidding me, dude.
I don't think that Israel killed him because there's no evidence of that. But I had a problem with Netanyahu exploiting an assassination in this country for his own political means and purposes and lying about the nature of his relationship with Charlie Kirk. Because Charlie Kirk didn't like Netanyahu, just like any warm-blooded American shouldn't. Netanyahu is a bad guy. And he wanted to make it seem like, no, we were all great. We were good. We had a great relationship. Little did we know behind the scenes,
I don't
there
know
was a
how
lot
every
of pressure
show
toward
ends up
Netanyahu.
being about how do we bash Israel. This is not for me. I'm not interested in this.
Okay,
I love
I
you
know.
guys.
I'm sorry. Let's be good. Let's be good about precious Israel. Let the country committing a genocide. Yeah. Okay.
Zero. I think you guys are great. I fundamentally disagree with you about like every show doing this. I'm sorry.
Cool. So can we continue the conversation?
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Wow. Okay, guys. So, again, to clarify, I don't think
She's, of course, they're spreading all these conspiracy theories about, like, Charlie Kirk's death and who killed him and who was doing what, and they referenced Candace Owens's conspiracy theories like 4 or 5 times now. And then when Jillian gets sick of this and walks off, of course, Anna has to be like, oh, they're just committing a genocide. What does it have to do with you throwing around accusations about Charlie Kirk and his death? What does that have to do with that? That's not relevant at all. You're talking about Charlie Kirk's donors. You're talking about people going after him for being anti-Semitic. You're talking about all of these totally irrelevant things. And then at the end, once Jillian gets fed up with it, then you're like, well, actually, we're just talking about the fact that Netanyahu is using this for his own political gain, and they're committing a genocide. That's not relevant, dude. There's nothing to do with this. What the fuck?
Israel did it. And you want to know what's crazy is the person who is labeled the #1 anti-Semite out there, who has been anti-Semitic for the last 10 years, Nicholas Fuentes, has come out and said there is no evidence that suggests that Israel did it. And that's actually what I was literally just about to show.
No one on the show is saying that.
We can play that, please, really quick. Guys, thank you.
They say
No one on the show is saying that, guys. We were just asking questions. That's it.
Bruh.
We didn't say it. We never said that.
Jesus
Charlie
Christ,
Kirk
man.
was offered an infusion of $150
Guys, I've never met a group of
million
people more sensitive than those who defend Israel at any and all costs. I'm sorry, it is not some angelic country. It's a foreign country, and we have the right to be as critical of a foreign country as we want.
This is exactly what I was talking about just a minute ago. This is exactly what I was talking about just a minute ago. Is the anti-Semitic people. This is what they do every fucking time. And all Kirk was doing was just adopting that dog whistle right there. He was just adopting that dog whistle right there. This is exactly what it is that I said they do every time. Is they do this like, you know, this blurry like, oh, just asking questions and, oh, well, they probably did this and it seems like they did that and somebody reported this and somebody told us that. bad, and we heard through the grapevine that this might have happened, and this doesn't align, and that doesn't make sense, and the FBI has to be lying because this isn't what a Gen Z would ever say in a text message. But then, when you're called out for it, I'm allowed to criticize Israel, okay? I'm allowed to criticize Israel, all right? It's not anti-Semitic to criticize Israel, and you guys will go to all sorts of lengths to defend anything and everything that Israel ever does. I'm not even allowed to criticize them. So fucking ridiculous, dude. This is every fucking time. Every time.
We have the right to be as critical of our own country as we want. And we are fucking Americans.
And you know what? We get in less trouble for being critical of America
100%,
than if we were to be critical of Israel.
And I'm sorry, it is ghoulish. It is ghoulish to take advantage of a political assassination in a foreign country, as Netanyahu did, to spread your disgusting...
Ah, they're cartoon characters, bro. They're so predictable. They're so predictable. I could call it every fucking time. They're going to do it every time. They're so predictable.
Political message that wasn't even right, that wasn't even accurate.
Yeah, didn't he imply that it was to do with Islamists?
He said that it was Islamists that killed
Which
Charlie
at that
Kirk.
point, there was no information that had come out. There wasn't anything that
He
would have
blamed it on the
pointed them.
Muslims, and this, by the way,
Has nothing to do with Muslims. That's my point. That's not a conspiracy theory. This is actually what he did. It's well
Also,
documented.
he said he had a letter from Charlie, which also turned out to be he misdescribed it, and so Netanyahu is just not a. I'm just like shocked. Yeah, no one here was saying that Israel.
I do not think Israel killed him.
We have to be able to
I
intellectually explore ideas and concepts, and if we can't...
Yeah, I don't think he did that. I'm just constantly asking questions and then not challenging those questions, not giving an explanation afterwards that says that this is obviously not what happened, not saying that there's no evidence to support this. Jillian is the only person who's doing that, but just because we didn't do that, and that we just threw this information out there and said X, Y, and Z is reporting X, Y, and Z, doesn't mean that we believe it. That's all we did.
That's when things start to get a little bit weird.
If you have an emotional breakdown every time.
Well, see, and now they're even fucking Amy Dangerfield just a minute ago was saying that she doesn't believe any of the Israel conspiracy theories, but now she's over here afterwards like, this is getting a little suspicious. Give me a fucking break. You guys are so dumb.
I think Israel killed him.
We have to be able to intellectually explore ideas and concepts, and if we can't, that's when things start to get a little bit weird.
Yeah, you're not even allowed to. You're not even allowed to. You guys just sat there talking over her every single time she tried saying something. You guys made a huge deal about it. Started fucking screaming at her. And then she decides to leave. She doesn't say you're not allowed to do this. She doesn't say that you have to shut the show down. She doesn't say that everybody needs to shut the fuck up. She just said, okay, I'm getting up and I'm leaving. Oh, we're not even allowed to do this. We're not even allowed. They won't even let us. This is weird. Isn't this strange that we're not even allowed to say this?
If you have an emotional breakdown every time someone criticizes a foreign country, I really think you should do some self-examination.
You mean like Ana Kasparian? You mean like Ana Kasparian, maybe? Maybe Ana Kasparian needs to do some fucking self-examination. The fact that she just had a fucking mental breakdown over here because the other person was actually challenging her on the shit and she kept telling her to shut the fuck up. Maybe.
Yeah, look, I don't want to trash Jillian. You know, she had an emotional reaction to that. It's her right. It is what it is. But I do think that it's totally legitimate to talk about something tragic happening in our country and that being exploited weaponized by a foreign leader. Yeah, that's not a conspiracy theory.
Well, it is really catty that they all just sat there afterwards talking shit about it. It was super strange.
That actually happened.
And whether Israel, there's been a lot of theories about Israel throughout the years, and whether or not they were the ones to actually contrive certain things, that's up for debate. But what we know is Israel is really good at never wasting a crisis.
That's right.
It's like they have a room full of people on standby that when something like this happens, how can we spin this in such a way? And nobody can deny.
She keeps saying, I don't believe in this. I don't believe in this. But then keeps pushing more and more shit in there to make it sound as though she believes this. Over and over. I think it's the furries, guys. I think it's the furries. But you know, it is really suspicious that Israel keeps doing this and Israel did that. And I can't believe Israel. Holy shit. These people are so broken.
deny that. Well, everybody was looking the other way during this incident, consumed with this news cycles. There were various different legislations that were attempting to be
the Epstein files, they decided, they voted not to release that. Also, someone, Lauren Boebert, introduced a bill saying that whoever criticizes Israel, their passport should be
revoked, so you could not even travel internationally.
So
and that
all
was for
this
citizens,
happened.
right? Was that for citizens or for visa
Well, if
holders?
you have a passport.
Yeah, anyone who has a passport. That includes American citizens.
Right.
Yeah,
that is fundamentally wrong.
I brought this up to someone recently, and they said, "Oh no, that's just for visa holders."
No, if you have a U.S. passport, you're by definition American citizen.
Right. Exactly. And look, they pulled back on that, luckily, because there was so much backlash.
The fact that they even thought it was okay to introduce it. Exactly. That is so anathema to everything we hold dear as a country.
I think there's something wrong right now in American culture where there's literally just one country and one government that is just above any and all criticism
And
or
Charlie
backlash.
said that, you know?
That is right.
That's
Charlie
what he's
did
been
say
saying.
that. And he fostered the type of environment where debates were allowed. And the fact that you can't have a conversation about this is crazy.
I want to mention that
Charlie said that we should be allowed to criticize Israel. Okay? We're just honoring Charlie's memory by saying that we're allowed to criticize Israel, guys. That's all. He said that.
at the Hampton Summit, he asked the people there, he invited a group of influencers, to talk about, it wasn't even just about Israel, it was all sorts of things, like the threat of Marxism and Zoran Mamdani. It was not just about Israel, let me be clear.
Oh, now that gets mentioned. Yeah, now, all of a sudden, all the caveats come out once Jillian leaves. Now they've got all the caveats in the world to throw out there. Not while they're actually covering the things. Not while they're all getting super kooky and conspiratorial. No, now at the end, let's just throw out a bunch of random caveats that don't actually, like, push back against the actual claims that were being made, but just make it seem as though we get some sort of plausible deniability in this case.
Well, he asked a group assembled there, he's like, what do you think would happen if I demanded Bibi Netanyahu's resignation? And some of the reactions were like, you would be called anti-Semitic. And he said, that's problematic because me criticizing a leader is not anti-Semitic. In fact, it's like my love for Israel. This guy is deeply committed to Israel as a Christian.
He believes in the biblical prophecy of the Old Testament. He's more of a Semitic, like...
it doesn't mean that you applaud every decision made by this government, this secular government.
Yeah. So let me ask something. So obviously Charlie Kirk was deeply religious and very conservative. Let's say we lived in an alternate universe where the Israeli government is a leftist government, where they believe in Marxism. Is Charlie Kirk not allowed to criticize that?
Right.
See, this is all they're gonna fucking do. This is it. This is all they're gonna do. They're just gonna sit there over and over. We're not even allowed to criticize it. We're not allowed. We're not allowed. No, you guys keep doing this thing where you're allowed to criticize Israel, okay? You're allowed to criticize them. But then if somebody criticizes you for your very poor criticisms and your conspiracy theories that you're pushing out there that you think are very suspicious, now you're not allowed. Now you're not allowed to criticize them. The other people there, which gives the idea that actually other people are not allowed to criticize you for your criticisms. It's not, nobody's saying don't criticize Israel. Nobody has ever said this. I've never heard a single person in my fucking life ever say you are not allowed to criticize Israel. Nobody has ever said this. It doesn't happen. It is a pure fucking straw man that they make up so that they can have some sort of like victim mentality that they're able to use as a shield the entire time. Nobody has ever said you're not allowed to criticize Israel. We're saying you have bullshit criticisms of Israel, or you bring up criticisms and then say, well, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I'm not saying that. That's not me. I'm not saying this. I don't know. I just think it's suspicious. I just think it's suspicious. That's all. If you're being criticized for that, and then people, your response is, oh, I'm not allowed to criticize. You're a victim on both fucking sides. You're a victim on both sides. You're allowed to criticize Israel, that anybody who says you're not allowed to, but then as soon as somebody's allowed to criticize you and your criticisms, now it's, oh, I'm not allowed. Oh, I'm not even allowed. Not even allowed to criticize Israel. Fucking victims, dude.
Like, really think about it for a second, because to me, a foreign government is not representative of an entire people.
Right.
Right? I don't look at Israel and think Israel is Jews. No, I don't think that at all. Not for a second. The current Israeli government is not representative of all.
Wait, I didn't even realize this. How long have the names been back? I didn't even realize this. How long have the names been back in chat? They got rid of the ats? Thank fucking God, dude. When did they do this? I feel like, has it been weeks? Have the ats been gone for weeks? It's been a couple weeks, isn't it? I didn't notice at all. I didn't notice at all that they were gone. That's fucking crazy, dude. I never noticed till just now. That's base. All right, cool.
All Jews. They're just not.
Right.
And so the way a government operates should be criticized if I see it fit, if you see it fit. I mean, it's up for debate. It's up for discussion. But the fact that it's like, oh, no, you can't touch it. That's wrong. We're going to call you anti-Semitic. We're going to smear you. We're going to destroy your family, which, by the way, I've had my own taste of that. That's why I...
Again, literally nobody has ever said that you're not allowed to criticize Israel. I would love for you guys, somebody, anybody, anywhere, give me an example where anybody has ever said you're not allowed to criticize Israel. I've been asking this for years now. Somebody show me people who say you're not allowed to criticize Israel. Somebody show me somebody saying this. Please, I would love to see it.
I am inclined to believe that Charlie Kirk was under the kind of pressure that he was under. That doesn't mean Israel assassinated him.
Correct.
But it does mean that totally separate story, that he was under a lot of pressure because young conservatives are not in line with older conservatives as it pertains to support for Israel.
Absolutely.
At the same time, the Zionist donors for Turning Point USA didn't like the fact that young conservatives were moving away from Israel. That is an interesting story involving tension, involving the influence of money into these organizations. That's all we're talking about.
And when you misleadingly...
That's all we're talking about, guys. We just brought up the fact that it's really hard to believe that Tyler Robinson was the shooter, that he couldn't have been at this Dairy Queen when this thing happened, that they made up all of these text messages trying to frame him and acting like he wrote these text messages when a Gen Zer would never say that, and why in the world would he ever give himself up when he was trying to keep it a secret. And this is just like the Luigi Mangione thing, where it doesn't make sense how they could believe that it was him. But all we're saying is that, you know, there was a lot of money in TPUSA from Jewish people, and that they weren't happy about Gen Z moving away from Israel. That's it. That's why we brought up the Dairy Queen thing. That's why we brought up Luigi Mangione. That's why we brought up the text messages. That's why we brought up the summit with Ackman and Kirk, where he's trying to force him to no longer be pro-Israel. That's why, pro-Palestine. That's why we brought up all this different stuff that had literally nothing to do with it, and we never brought up a single argument. We never brought up a single point. We never brought up a single article. We brought up the fact that it was like really strange that the people were posting songs and books before he even died because of the lobbyists who fund Turning Point USA. That's why we did it. Of course. That's why we did it. It's all connected, obviously. That's all we were saying.
Conflate two completely different issues, though. That's a red herring. That's a way to avoid actual discussions. And accountability. You have to be able to have this discussion. Like when we trash Ukraine, and I've trashed Zelensky, no one is saying I'm anti-Ukrainian. No one is accusing me of being a bigot. I can't remember the last time someone smeared me as a racist for criticizing Zelensky and saying that there's no lack of accountability for the billions that we've been spending there. We should be able to have these conversations because it's taxpayer-funded operations. We are sending so many weapons there.
We should be allowed to have these conversations, guys. We should be allowed, guys. Have the conversation. Then they can't. They can't, Trib. They can't. They're not allowed. They're not allowed, dude. No one's going to let them have it, dude. They can't do it. It's not allowed. And it's sad It's sad. It's a sad state of America. We're not even allowed. We don't even have free speech anymore. Let's ignore like the whole thing going on with the FCC and Trump taking away, trying to coerce networks into firing people who say things that he doesn't like. Let's totally ignore the fact that like people who sued Donald Trump, that he tried to bring criminal charges against them because he wanted to make sure that they weren't able to use the government or go through the law, and then actually took bribes to drop all the criminal charges. Let's totally ignore the fact that they've been talking about putting in place hate speech laws and stuff like that. It's really, we're oppressed over here because we're not allowed to talk about this. We're not even allowed, and it's not right. We're not even allowed to do it.
There, we are taking a beating.
We are
on the international stage for this country.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about it. Let's
No, it is our right.
Hey,
I'm not asking
We're not allowed to do it. So let's talk about it because it's our right.
permission. It is our right as Americans to talk about anything we see fit. I'm not going to let a foreign country or American supporters of a foreign country to censor me or censor anyone.
And you know what? When they do that, what does it do? It amplifies the conspiracy.
It does,
because
100%.
people are like, oh, we're not allowed to flesh out these ideas in
Not
the free
allowed. They're not allowed, dude.
marketplace to determine that this is a ridiculous idea, such as many people did.
Right.
There's a lot of people who are anti-Semitic out there who wanted to blame Israel, and then even people like Nick Fuentes, where they're saying, no, show me a single shred of evidence, leave it to the free market. We're actually kind of smart out there. We can figure out which ideas hold value and which ideas don't. We don't need daddy government.
You guys aren't talking about that, though. You guys haven't said a word about that. You guys are not talking about that. You have not talked about the value of the ideas that you're putting out there. You are not talking about the value of the conspiracies that you're putting out there. You're not talking about the value of the articles or the clips that you're going over. You didn't talk about the value of those things at any point during this at all. You just threw a bunch of random shit out there and then said, yeah, it is suspicious, isn't it? It's real suspicious. Isn't that strange? Yeah, it's strange. This is really suspicious. And then just moved on. And then once Jillian got mad, then you guys were like, we're not even saying that. We didn't say that. We're actually talking about this totally different thing that we never mentioned once. We're actually talking about the donors for TPUSA, and we just happened to never mention them the entire time, and it wasn't related in the least to anything that we've been talking about, and we're not even allowed.
Or any other influences, for that matter, telling us what we can and cannot speak about.
Yeah, telling you that you can't do it.
Good place to leave it if you're cool with that. Because I wanted to just do one more story and then wrap up this episode.
Perfect.
So let's talk a little bit about Kash Patel, because Kash Patel is getting a lot of heat, a lot of backlash, not just from the left, but notably conservatives who are very excited about him serving as the FBI, head of the FBI, but he's had some fumbles, as PBD likes to say, big fumbles if you ask me. So FBI Director Kash Patel is facing a lot of backlash from both sides of the political aisle over how he's handling multiple big issues. So there have been several issues.
Okay. We're not allowed, guys. We're not even allowed to do it. We've been sitting here this entire time doing it. The problem is that they keep saying that they're not allowed to criticize things while they're criticizing. And then if anybody criticizes them for their bullshit criticisms, then they say they're not allowed to do it again. We're just not even allowed. So are you saying that then the people who criticize you guys for your criticisms are therefore not allowed to criticize you? Because you keep saying, oh, well, it's our right. It's our right to give these criticisms. Well, nobody said you're not allowed to give the fucking criticisms. But if people aren't allowed to criticize you for your bullshit criticisms, then are they not allowed? Like, what is the idea here? What the fuck is happening?
I'm going to tell the truth, even if it comes at a significant cost to my career, Jillian, as you...
I bet you anything, dude. She's gonna make this all about the fucking genocide. I bet you anything.